Welcome to the Wolf Mother Podcast. My name is Dana Harkis, and as always, we will begin by taking 3 deep breaths. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out of the mouth, in through the nose, out of the mouth. Deep breath in, and let that go. Today's topic is going to be you are not for everyone. This is actually an episode that I've already recorded about a month and a half ago, but when I realized there was just so much more to say about it, I decided, let me completely remake it. And then life got busy, and now it's a month and a half later. So you are not for everyone. I want to talk about this in terms of two separate spaces almost. The first space is going to just be overall and in life. And then the second space is going to be for facilitators, practitioners, and healers. Or maybe not. Maybe you do something else that falls underneath that category. But so let's start out with the idea that this teaching that you are not for everyone is something that can really set you free. I think a lot of times we grow up, or at least I've met a lot of people who grow up in spaces where we need to appease adults. We want to appease our parents. We want to appease our teachers, right? And because we want to do those things, we feel like we need to fit into these very specific little boxes so that we can be praised and accepted by everyone. But the reality is that you are not for everyone. And so we see this even when people, not in a good way, because there is a good way when you have like all different types of things that you're interested in, that you have all different types of communities and friends, but we see this to a downside when people continue to stick with a personality type or stuff that a community is interested in that they're not really interested in, but they're just doing it to keep up with everything so that they can maybe continue to have friends. Maybe they just want to continue to be a part of this community, but is it really serving them? If you ask them, no. So when we recognize that we are not meant for everyone, there's also the piece that comes in of many times we see this with people on the quote unquote spiritual path, the self-help path, when people just put themselves first, which, side note to that, I think a lot of people feel is very selfish, but I think it's one of the most beautiful things that you can do is put yourself first as much as possible, because the more you put yourself first, I always say this, if you've ever been to my breathwork classes, that when you show up and do this type of work, everyone gets a piece of it, right? Your friends, your family, your coworkers, strangers on the street, because you're actively putting yourself first. And the reality is, at the end of the day, you are your whole world. You are your whole universe. I digress from that point and come back to not being for everyone and the beauty of understanding that when we get into this space of, I want to take people from world A with me into world B. And we have to be realistic and recognize that when we start doing this type of work, a lot of times the people from our quote unquote original world, world A, a lot of them don't transfer over to world B. I also want to say with this piece, that doesn't mean that you need to get rid of people from world A. I can give a more concrete, example so you guys can kind of follow along from my own life and my own experience. I had many friends, many friends before I realized, damn, I don't have to be for everyone. And then I decided, okay, I'm not going to be for everyone. And the friends that I had growing up from world A have gotten much smaller, right? It has really transformed and changed. But with that being said, I still have people from world A in my life. There are some people from world A that came over with me to world B. And when I say world B, it's just once I really started putting myself first, there were a lot of people that had problems with it and a lot of people that just had issues with the fact that I wanted to do more for myself than what I had been doing originally. And to some people, that was me being selfish. But the people that truly love me and support me recognized it was a good selfish. It was for my mental health and well-being, for me to do what I wanted to do in my life. So, ergo, my favorite word, beautiful word, love the word ergo. Ergo, I had to sit with the fact that I was not for everyone. So these friend groups that I had had my whole childhood then faded away because I was once, again, not for everyone. It's even happened with family members. I have made very clear stances on what I believe that has happened in my family situations, which thus has led to me losing family members because I am not for everyone. And I'm not saying that you can't be friends with or have relationships with people that you have differing opinions on. I think it's good to have friends that you have different opinions with. But I mean more to the point where when I'm saying that you are not for everyone, this is a teaching for the person who's like, I am trying to fit in everyone's puzzle piece just because I want people to be around me, just because I want to be loved. And or there's some type of validation that you feel you get from being a part of everyone's world, to recognize if you take those people and those communities away, you might actually find more people and more communities that are a better fit for who you are at this point in life. Let's take a deep breath in all together and let that go. And I want to move into my next point. And I also, maybe we'll discuss actually I'd love to hear from you guys as I move into this next point. What do you think creating a deeper sense of self looks like? Do you feel like you've created a deeper sense of self? Would you like a follow-up episode to this about how to create a deeper sense of self? Because I think a lot of times with people that maybe don't understand how to create a deeper sense of self, they try to fit into everyone's puzzle pieces. They try to fit into everybody's keyholes so that they can just be a part of everyone's everything, and then they get left behind because they haven't cultivated that deeper sense of self. So comment on whatever platform or reach out in another way and let me know. Now, the second piece, this is for people that are facilitators and practitioners and healers. And maybe you don't work in the same realm as me. I know there's a lot of you that listen to this that I think it's really cool that there are people that are doctors and lawyers or professionals, quote unquote, and you guys listen to this. So maybe this applies to your world as well. But I definitely know that for people that work in the industry that I'm in, as well as the fitness industry, because there are some overlaps there, I want to talk about not being the facilitator for everyone. And I think that that's okay. I'm going to be super specific when I talk about this, just for the example of it, because I really want people to understand this. There are certain people that I don't want coming to my spaces because I personally don't want to hold space for them. And I have had people say, oh, but to be a healer, you need to heal everyone. I'm going to stop you right there. I completely fucking disagree with you. I do not think that I need to be healing everyone. However, what I will say is I do believe everyone deserves healing. And I believe that the people that can hold space for those people are probably different from me, right? There are certain people for certain people. I am not for everyone. I am not everyone's cup of tea when it comes to being a space holder and facilitator. And guess what? That's okay. That doesn't take away from me as a space holder or facilitator. It doesn't have to mean anything bad about me. And it also doesn't have to mean anything bad about the specific people that I maybe don't want to work with. What it means is there's probably someone else that would be a better fit for them. I know the type of people that I am a good fit for, and I know the type of people that I am just straight up not a good fit for. And in my humble opinion, that makes me a good facilitator. That makes me a good space holder, because I've taken the moment to be like, you know what? I'm not going to be the best person for everyone out there. That's a great thing. And I've seen it time and time again where people will take on every client that comes to their front door because they need the money. There's either that they take on every client under the sun because they need the money, or there's the other lane that they take on everyone under the sun because they feel like they need to be like a martyr, I guess, and they need to be the healer of all healers, that they can heal everyone and blah, blah, blah. When in reality, and this is my opinion, so I'd also love to know your thoughts on this. My opinion is that, you know the saying, a friend to everyone is a friend to no one, because there's almost like no loyalty? I want to bring it back to the beginning piece that I spoke about. It's like a lack of sense of self. And so, yeah, let's take a pause in a moment, deep breath, let it go. It's a very beautiful experience to recognize that you or the services that you offer are not for everyone, because it helps you also get clear on the type of people that you want to serve and the type of people that you want to work with. I understand that there are retreat centers that's kind of a different story, right? When I talk to people that are like, oh, like I own a retreat center, that's different. Are you holding space for every single person that comes through, or are you just the retreat center that allows other facilitators to come in to work with all these different types of people? I'm talking on a very specific, like, person to person scale. If you didn't know this, so Dylan and I have 2 retreats coming up. We have one that's happening in Italy at the end of October, and we have another one that's happening at the end of the end of July in Peru. If you didn't already know this, we have a screening process that we go through with everyone, which is needed. But everyone not only needs to be vetted and screened, but also we need to sit with the idea that we're going to be with these people for a few days on end. Is somebody that we think we can have in the space that is going to be someone that we, one, can hold the proper space for, right? This requires radical honesty, right? Can we hold the space that this person needs? 1. 2, are they the type of person that they would be good in a community setting? And this is where you might be like, this is where my personality is really going to show. I can't tell you how many retreats that I have worked at in the past. Oh, the eyebrow went right up. If you're watching this on YouTube, you saw that. I've worked with many different types of people at a specific retreat center that I used to work at. I would not choose to spend days on end with certain people that came through that door. Just not my cup of tea. They're not my type of people that I want to spend getting very intimate with. The last Peru retreat we did, that was at the end of December into the beginning of January of this year. I was very grateful that all of the guests that we had all said something similar, to the point of, you guys created such a beautiful community of people for these 7 days. Like everyone meshed so well. But again, this required radical honesty of Dylan and I to sit down and have certain discovery calls with people and be like, you know what? This person actually is not a good fit, because thinking about holding space for them, either it was that, or thinking about, are they going to mesh well with the group that we've already cultivated? No, that is a beautiful thing. Not every space in the world is meant for every single person. Yes, again, I'm going to say it because I know there's going to be people that are going to be like, wow, she doesn't think everyone deserves healing. I do. I believe everyone deserves healing. But that's why there are so many spaces in the world. And when someone says to me like, oh, everyone is open to coming to your spaces, of course, what we do can be helpful for everyone. But that doesn't mean that we need to accept everyone. Does that make sense? Like really sitting with that and thinking about that. And now this is a conversation that I've had with some of my clients that do similar work to me, in terms of just having clientele, when we don't actually want to be taking on those clients. And I get that sometimes it's a money thing and people are like, but I need the money coming through. So I really just need to allow it to happen. And let me bring this back to the beginning of what we were talking about, when we were talking about not being for everyone just in general. But when you recognize that at the end of the day, you are your world and you serve yourself first and foremost, it gets a lot easier to discuss and figure out who you want to serve after yourself. That doesn't make you selfish, and that doesn't make you a bad person or a bad space holder and facilitator. It creates a deeper sense of self, and it creates a deeper sense of trust within you and yourself to who you are. So I'm going to digress here as we're at 15 minutes. Let's take a deep breath all together. In and out. If you're on YouTube and you've heard the jingle jangle, here is the jingle jangle up top. It's a little puppy. And with that being said, like I said, we have 2 retreats coming up this year that we're really excited about. If you're interested in doing shadow work and healing with psychedelics, Peru is the perfect option for you. If you're interested in shadow work, working with the dark and deep divine feminine, but you're not interested in psychedelics, but you still want to work with certain plant medicines that are non-psychoactive, Italy is the perfect fit for you. So reach out to hear about more information. We have 2 BIPOC spots for both retreats. Also, if you send out our information about these retreats to someone that you know and they end up coming with us on the retreat, as long as they mention your name to us, you can get a 10% kickback. We're really trying to create community here. So let me know what you're thinking. Many blessings to you and to yours.